Back to the daily grind. The channel's getting false flagged by triggered trolls, so make sure you subscribe to the new channel. Let's get to the MMA news. Khabib Nurmagomedov has officially called out Conor McGregor for UFC 219, and I must say that would be an epic fight. Think about why. Khabib Nurmagomedov's undefeated #1 contender, 24-0. Conor McGregor just fought undefeated Floyd Mayweather. Think about the build-up. I mean, Khabib's got a huge fan base outside of the U.S. and even inside of the U.S., but he's got a majority of his fan base outside of the U.S. So it would be a huge fight, and it would be Conor McGregor going against another undefeated fighter. I'm sure a lot of people, even from the boxing community, would tune in just to see Conor McGregor lose to another undefeated fighter, or so they would be hoping. A lot of people would be hoping for Conor McGregor to lose versus Khabib. It would be, man, I think that would be a huge fight, a huge build-up. But there's so many huge possibilities for Conor McGregor we have to keep in mind. Nate Diaz. I believe I just seen an article after this one came out that said his manager, Conor McGregor's manager, said he wants the Nate Diaz fight, but Khabib, Lee, and Ferguson are also on the table. So I'll have to read that and see what it's talking about. But this is the thing. Khabib Nurmagomedov isn't scheduled to fight for the interim title. Actually, right now it's Kevin Lee versus Tony Ferguson. It was supposed to be Khabib, but he wasn't able to fight at UFC 216. So my thoughts are, if there's an interim title on the line, if one of those guys don't get injured, don't they have to get the fight? The only way the interim title holder doesn't fight the champion is if they get injured in their fight, as in the Robert Whittaker case, which is why Michael Bisping's fighting George St. Pierre instead of Robert Whittaker, because even though he has the interim title, he's injured. But if he wasn't injured, he'd be fighting Michael Bisping. Now that seems like the case here to me. If Kevin Lee or Tony Ferguson win the interim title, then they get the Conor McGregor shot. But if they get injured, Conor McGregor would get to choose his opponent, I'm guessing. And if that's the case, who would it be? Would it immediately go to whoever doesn't get injured out of Kevin Lee and Tony Ferguson? Would Conor McGregor get to pick out of Nate Diaz and Khabib? Nate Diaz is another huge possibility. He's probably, if Conor McGregor got to pick, it would be Nate Diaz. But I think Khabib would be a huge fight too. I don't honestly think it would be as big as the Nate Diaz fight, but honestly, both of the fights would be huge. Great ways to end UFC 219. I honestly think if the fans had to choose, as far as the fans, most of the fans, they'd probably pick Nate Diaz. I know Khabib fans are going to go for the Khabib fight, but I think just as far as the biggest possibility, it'd probably be Nate Diaz, but that'll be interesting. We'll have to do a debate on that, because will it be the winner of the interim title fight? It seems like that's who it has to be, but if something happens and one of those guys get injured, maybe Conor McGregor will be fighting Khabib or Nate Diaz. Who will it be? It's interesting. But Khabib has officially called out Conor McGregor for UFC 219. We'll see if Conor McGregor responds. Conor McGregor's probably not even thinking about Twitter right now. He's probably knee deep in D-dabbling. I'm just fucking around, but you know what I'm saying? He's probably still celebrating. He's probably got a hangover right now. He has his own fucking Irish whiskey and shit he was drinking after the fight, man. I want to try that shit. I ain't even lie. I gotta get some of that shit one time before I fucking die. It is what it is, man. Let the haters know what the fuck you tab at in the comments, dude. What do girls and noodles have in common? They both wiggle when you eat them.